All right, the encounter is nearly finished. We've got our minions on the board and our boss and the artillery here, the human mage, the cultist. This is a hard encounter, level 7, against our characters, which are level 5. Made a little gap in the prisoners, and to add some character to the room, we've put in an Iron Maiden here, probably used to torture the prisoners or intimidate them. Vistra, the lost sister, is not visible here. Perhaps our heroes can save these villagers, and maybe they can let her know if her sister is alive, and if she is, where she could be. So they have found the Duragar outpost. Taking a little bit more inspiration from the board game, let's take a look at these scorch marks here on the board. This will be part of the battle. These are going to be steam vents. It says on the card, the floor, superheated steam gushes up from the floor into the passage. So this room is quite hot. At random moments, some of these steam vents will activate. And when a steam vent activates, I'm going to be putting one of these little blast markers on it, another component from the board game, and that will be randomly determined. So let's sort of determine one of those now. If I roll a 6, it's nowhere. If I roll a 1, 2, or 1 through 5, we got a 4. We're just going to count down from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is activating right behind the orc there. So these guys are pretty aware of where the steam vents are and do their best to avoid them. They can cause some pretty bad burns. Perhaps at a couple of other moments in the battle, I may get some inspiration from these encounter cards just to add some flavor to the battle. And let's go ahead and roll initiative and get started. Here's a handful of dice. The Viking die and the blue die are for our heroes. The white die is for the white-haired cultist there. The red die is for our leader, our enemy leader, the Duragar leader. Black die for the orcs, and the dark red for the guards. Let me take a look and get this sorted out. All right, the initiative track is set. We have the orcs going first, followed by the guards and the Duragar controller. We have our hero, Eldith. We have the cultist mage, and then last, we have our companion. Well, as we begin, the orcs are ready to charge and attack just immediately. They start to advance, all of them moving forward. And the commander, the Duragar leader, barks out, "Halt!" And they freeze in their position. In fact, one even steps back, and they each take an additional step back. And he says, "Let them come." The Duragar thugs are on the walls here. They hold position, and this one starts to back away as well. Uh-oh. Our Duragar theurge begins some arcane chanting, and through his magic creates these vile fumes. This is a standard action. It recharges when he becomes bloodied. It is poison. This is an area burst 2 within 15 squares, plus 9 versus fortitude. We will be doubling the static modifier. As the Duragar theurge begins to chant, one of the guards against the wall pulls on a lever, and a sort of an echoing clank is heard echoing through the chamber. Our heroes have no idea what has just happened, but immediately these poisonous this poisonous cloud forms right behind them and just engulfs them in this cloud of vile fumes. Let's make the attack rolls. We'll start with Eldith. Her fortitude is 19. I believe this is +9 versus fortitude. And that's a 19. That's a hit on her. Let's check the companion. 18 on his defense. A 5. I think he resists. The vile fumes sort of wash over Eldith, and her companion turns and quickly lifts up his arm to cover his mouth and nose. She takes 3d6 in damage. That's going to be 10, doubling the static modifier to another 8 is 18 points of poison damage. Poisonous fumes are so strong, she is blinded by them, just tears rolling down her cheeks and as she coughs. Eldith will remain blinded until the end of the commander's next turn. Coughing and choking and at a severe disadvantage, Eldith retreats 5 spaces into the corner of the area where they had come from before. That was her move action. From her belt pouch, she pulls out her 1 healing potion and takes a drink. This will spend a healing surge, and it will heal her 10 points. She is now at 50 hit points. The crazed mage cultist giggles with laughter as he sees Eldith running off, coughing and crying down the hallway. He steps back confidently and begins an arcane gesture. Our human mage here fires off a magic missile in the form of a small red dragon. It has a range of 20, and it does not automatically hit. It is +7 versus reflex. We'll do 2d4. We'll double this to 8. 2d4 plus 8. If it hits, it's targeting Rogar. So +7 against reflex is going to have defenses of 18. Wow, an 11 plus 7 is an 18. That's a hit. So we're going to do 2d4. And we got a 1 and a 3, so 4. And I think we said it was +8. That is 12 points of fire damage to Rogar, bringing him down to 40. Well, Rogar's up next. He's no fool. He's not going to charge in there by himself. And he rushes back down the hallway. The villagers cry out, "Don't leave us!" So with a move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he rushes back down the hallway beside of Eldith, and he attempts to calm her as he rubs his burned shoulder. Following her lead, he also pulls out his 1 healing potion and takes a drink, healing him 10 hit points. This brings Rogar to 50. Top of the round, it is time to determine where the steam vent activates, and we get 4. Is that the same? 1, 2, 3, 4. Same steam vent continues to vent out very hot air. The orcs, just eager for battle, grunt and shift in their positions, and the Duergar leader waves his hand and he says, "Finish them." And they charge down the hallway. with a move of 6, our first one runs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then he takes his standard action and he runs into a full charge. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I wonder if he should even, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what he'll do. That's tactically a little better. I think he's going to charge up and attack Rogar. So normal movement, move action, charge. You're allowed to move again as long as it's in, a straight line towards your target or getting you closer to your target with each square. And he gets to make his attack at +1. Let's see how he will roll. That's a 12. Not sure if that's going to hit. That is a total of 20 or 21 with the charge. So +9 to the attack plus an additional 1. That is not good enough. It fails to break his defense by 1 point. So as the orc charges and attacks, Rogar raises up his shield and deflects it. The other orcs are coming. The second orc rushes down. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gets to this position. And from here, starting from this corner, we have a clear shot. Well, for the most part, I guess Eldith is somewhat in the way, providing a little bit of cover there, but he's not worried about hitting her. So he will hurl his hand axe as a ranged attack. He's carrying about 4 of these hand axes, so he hurls one of them, range of 5 +9 versus armor class. Hurling his axe at Rogar, he rolls a 10. The axe just flips end over end and kind of zooms right past Rogar's head as he leans to the side. The final orc makes his run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gets to the same position, and then we'll charge. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's going to charge up and attack Eldith. Charge attack, +1 to this. A 9. Wow, we're rolling just right in the middle. That is not good enough. That won't hit her defenses. So as he charges into attack, she can barely see. Her eyes still heavily affected by the fumes, the poisonous fumes. She still manages to make out enough of the attack coming her way. She raises her axe and blocks the axe attack from the orc. It is now to the Duergar guards, the Duergar thugs. Again, the soldier on the wall hits another lever, and another grinding sound is heard. Other than that, the guards do not move. The Duergar commander is up next in the initiative order and delays his action until something occurs that he's looking for. At this moment, this is technically the end of his turn. The blindness condition, the poison blinded condition, will end on Vistra as soon as he delays. Did I say Vistra? I meant Eldith. Her blindness is gone. She wipes the tears from her eyes, and she's furious, letting out her own battle cry. She takes a cleave attack against the 2 orcs right in front of her. We'll target this one first. She gets +11 to the attack, needs to hit an armor class of 16. That is a 14 on the die roll. She swings her axe in a wide arc, cuts through the midsections of both of the orcs. However, as they fall, something happens. Just yet another reason 4th edition was a lot of fun. We have a triggered action here on this minion called a Savage Demise. When he reaches 0 hit points, he gets to take a free action. It can be a standard action. So he's going to attack as he's on his way down to death. In a desperate, dying attempt at revenge, the first Orc Savage attacks Eldith. Ooh, he rolls an 18. That is successful. He hits her with his axe for 8 damage. She drops down to 42 hit points. The next orc, on his way down in death, makes his final attack against Rogar. 19, that's a hit. He's hit for 8 damage. Both of our heroes down to 42 points. So her cleave attack was her standard action. For her next action, dwarves, as a minor action, can spend their second wind. Every character has a chance to use second wind, which is normally a standard action, to use a healing surge. She will take that action now. So she will spend a second healing surge, but this one will heal her for 15 points. And it will be used for this encounter. Eldith is now up to 57, 1 point shy of her maximum of 58. The cultist is up next, stepping forward, his hands sparking with fire. A smile crosses his face, but the Duergar commander barks at him and says, "Do not block my view. You asked for my help. Now step back." And sheepishly, the cultist steps back to where he was before, just in front of the jail cells. Rogar smiles, seeing that Eldith is back at it and ready for battle. Wielding his hand axe, he hurls it, his throwing axe. He hurls it towards the lone orc in the hallway. Ranged attack here. There is no penalty. It is within range. Counting spaces in 4th edition is the same whether you're going this way or diagonally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 spaces away. No problem. Let's see if he hits. That's a 15 plus his bonus. That's a definite hit. Hurling his axe. Boom. Right between the eyes. The orc falls. But even as the axe falls from his face and blood streams down his nose and around his mouth, the orc charges in death. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he makes an attack, a charge attack against Rogar with his last dying breath. Let's try that again. That is a 12 plus 9 and plus 1. That's going to be a 22. That's a hit. Just barely. Again, another cool feature about this minion write-up is when he charges, that damage increases to 12. So Rogar gets nailed for 12, and then the orc dies. As a minor action, Rogar will use his second wind, and he will use a healing surge to heal himself 13 points, taking him up to 43. "Come on," he says, "we must go." 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Sort of gets behind cover here of this this part of the doorway.